Okay, my name is Letitia Miller, and my daughter is Nicole Miller. She's 8 years old, and she just 3 months ago she went through a kidney transplant. She is doing amazingly well. The transplant was something we dreaded, and I don't know why I ever dreaded it, because on this side of the transplant it's been wonderful. She's healthy, her labs are all normal, she's happy, she's energetic. She's doing great.
Everything, really everything that you guys wanted.
Yes.
And so she's been battling this for pretty much since birth, of having basically a kidney that's been failing, and you guys had a teacher step up of all people.
Yes.
And everything. And I mean, tell me a bit about how it's like now, looking back at it all, seeing everything. I mean, you say, yeah, now, you wouldn't have guessed it for a second, or judged it for a second, but now going through it all and seeing everything, I mean, what's that feeling like of being where you are today?
It's a wonderful feeling. I mean, I talk to people who are awaiting transplants, and I just feel like so relieved, and I feel so relaxed, and I'm not stressed, and all that anxiety is gone. When you see your child failing in health, it's just this cloud that follows you everywhere you go, and it's gone. We still have to manage things medically, but it's so much easier when you have a child that's happy and healthy and energetic. Looking back, it gives me shivers to think that how well orchestrated everything went. And sometimes I just think we couldn't have ever planned it to go that well. I just thank God for orchestrating everything so well and being with us throughout the whole journey.
How big of a change was it? I mean, from the time Nicole, before, I know her health wasn't the best.
No.
And then what's that contrast? What was it like then, and now what is it like? How is she like today?
Before, she was just really tired. And like emotionally, she just didn't have the stamina to do things. She would just have meltdowns. We would call it hitting the wall. She would just hit a wall, and we would have to leave places all the time because she was crying and she was tired. Or we would go places and we would just bring a pillow and a blanket because she would just go lay on the floor at 7 o'clock at night, and we'd be like, okay, good night. And we didn't stop our lives. Well, we did stop our lives in a lot of areas. But when we did go out, we always had to make modifications for Nicole. Now, all we have to do is bring her medicine with us and a bottle of water, and we can stay out till midnight if we want.
You guys can party hard.
and she is right there with us.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
It must be a big change to be able to have, it's kind of sad to think about, an 8-year-old who wasn't, always, physically there,
Yeah.
just her condition. But now to have her active and she's energetic.
Very. She's with us. As a person, she's with us. She does things with us. She's not checked out. She's not just so fatigued that she can't function. And so it's like having a checked out child, and now she's back with us. It's just wonderful.
It's so important to you guys, I know, to share a bit about her story and about Wendy coming forward and helping you all. And what's it been like? Because I know that you've had some, interaction with people, who've been kind of in the same boat. What's that like to be able to kind of guide other parents, along this crazy journey? It's
a great feeling to be able to encourage people. And we have a great story, and our outcome was wonderful. And it's in my mind, it restores hope in people. And if I can provide encouragement and hope and give someone hope for their child, it's like I'll do it all over again. It's just, it's very satisfying to me to be able to encourage another mom who's wringing her hands and worried about her child to say, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
is that kind of the goal for you guys from here on out? I mean, obviously, Nicole, I know she has to take medications for pretty much from here on out.
Yeah.
And then, long down the line, there will be, you guys will have to, or she'll have to go through another, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's many, many years from now. So what's your, I guess, do you guys have any other ambition with this story? Anything that you really hope for?
That's a really good question. I don't think we've actively sat down and really talked about it.
Yeah.
I think right now it's we're only 3 months out from the
it's soon.
transplant.
It's so fresh.
It's so fresh, and we really are just now kind of coming down from the whole process of the transplant. I think we're just now kind of getting into normalcy. But that's a really good question. I would love to continue to encourage anything. I don't know if there's anything concrete that we have, but that would be a great thing to do.
Yeah.
Do something, but nothing yet.
It's okay. Well, I mean, and obviously, priorities is focusing on the family.
Yeah.
And you guys have a lot going on with Nathan
Yeah.
getting ready for school.
Yeah, it's been a crazy 3 months. He
Yeah.
graduated, the party, the getting him ready for college. Whew.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's an incredible year. But that's
Yes.
good for you guys, I think, too, to have, that all the other stuff going on to keep everyone
Yeah.
fresh and moving forward and everything. So that's cool. As for Wendy, I mean, I'll get to talking to her hopefully soon. But is there anything that you want to say to people like Wendy? I mean, obviously she was such a big part of this process for your family, and
Yeah.
I mean, that relationship is special.
Yeah.
Is she going to be your little boy's teacher this next year? Is she back to kindergarten?
No, she's not.
Oh, she's not. Because I think at one point she said she may be, and I was wondering about that. So I'm like, oh my gosh, how funny would that be?
I know.
That's good. So she must still be in the 4th grade or whatever she's in. I don't know. I'll have to ask her.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you would like to say or mention to? I mean,
I think if anybody's even thinking about being a kidney donor, I think they should really, really take the time and sit down and research it and think about it, because the blessing it provides to someone else is something that is, like that commercial says, it's priceless. Mm-hmm. It's just, I can't even explain how I feel about Wendy, because what she did for us was priceless. It's like no amount of money or nothing she could, it's just one of those things that it's just priceless. It's such a gift to us, and to be able to do that for someone else, if people are thinking about that, they should really do it, because there's there's tons of kids out there waiting for kidneys, and they don't have donors. And I was lucky enough to have a donor for my child, but there's tons of kids out there waiting. And to be able to help a child and give a child their life back, I just, I think we're all so busy. I think it's something that you really need to sit and think about and ponder and do it.
Yeah, just to see Nicole, just being, I mean, like I said, I've only seen you guys a handful of times, but I mean, this is the most everything I've ever seen her, and it's nice to see.
Yeah,
she's being the child that she should be,
right?
The 8-year-old she should be. So.
And for Wendy, I mean, I don't want to speak for Wendy, but if people are thinking, well, I can't take 6 weeks off work, I don't have the money, I don't, everything kind of worked out for her.
That's true.
And she was able to do that, and so don't let that be a limit. Don't let anything be a limit. If you want to do it, pursue it, because it's such a blessing to someone else. So.
That's great. Is there anything else that you want to add or mention that maybe I didn't ask you, Letitia?
No, I think
our last
that's
one.
Good.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
It's been cool chronicling the whole thing. It was one of the things that after I did that first story, I told my bosses, I'm like, we just need to follow up with them a lot. I'm like, I know it's going to bug them, but I think it's going to be nice to just to show that progress and to see everything. I mean, this story, I was hoping to do it several months from now, but I'm just like, I think that's going to be, it's a beautiful message.
It is
spiritually, and within the I guess the donor community and everything too. I mean, it just has so many different things that will hit home with people. That are really neat. So.
Well, it was funny. I went to a clinic. It was the last month, And the transplant nurse, she said, I was just in Phoenix and I went to a transplant dialysis convention out there. And she said that I was in a session where they were talking about kidney donation from live donors. And she said, they brought up, she said, there's all kinds of different donors. In fact, we just had a kindergarten teacher donate a kidney to a student. And, and she said, it was just kind of funny because she said, here I am at this convention and they're talking about it.
Hi.
And
Isn't that wild?
I said, well, did you raise your hand and say, that was my patient? And she's like, no. but
That's
it's
awesome, though. That's
people
good to
are
know
talking
that.
about
Definitely. And I think that's the important part is it opens up people's eyes to what they can do.
because
if they want to.
I never thought about being a donor.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm 47 years old, and it never crossed my mind.
And you wouldn't think that it would help, someone so young too. I would never have thought that. Because
Right.
when I'm like, it still baffles me, but the doctor explained it to me. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to argue with your medical school or anything.
Right.
But I'm like, that's cool though.
Right.
To know. So.
To know that it helps a little, that it could really help someone. And so I think there's a bunch of wonderful people out there, and if they really knew how much it could help someone, I think they'd do it.